6.
But another Duggar wedding, Jason, he's another one down.
Yeah.
How many more do we have left?
6.
Really?
Only 6 left.
Only 6 left.
Yep.
Only 6 more weddings.
Well, no, that's not going to be true. There are 6 more siblings to get married.
Okay.
Then we have 30 plus nieces and nephews.
Oh, well,
coming
yeah.
up.
Give us some time on that one.
Not too long.
We've got another
you think
15
about
years.
it, like our oldest niece is 14.
Oh, really?
And then,
So in the next 10
not
years,
too
we
many
might
years.
start seeing weddings.
Yeah, probably so.
The second
And then
generation.
it will be crazy. I don't think we're going to be able to make it to all of those because
Wow.
that's a lot.
It's crazy.
Welcome back to The Fame. Today, we're diving deep into the Duggar family headlines, and trust us, there's no shortage of tea to spill. First up, Jinger Duggar Vuolo has dished out some eyebrow-raising details about her brother Jason's recent wedding to Maddie Grace. She's calling it just another Duggar wedding. Yep, that's her words, with the Duggars seemingly tying the knot nonstop. Ginger's surprising distance from her new sister-in-law has us wondering just how close she is with her sibling spouses. We're unpacking every detail right here. And speaking of Jinger, she recently shared the sweetest story about how she announced her pregnancy to her mom, Michelle, and sisters. This one's a feel-good tale that brought laughs and happy tears to the Duggar family. Grab some tissues and settle in. Next, we're zooming in on Jason and Maddie's big day. You'd think a wedding would mean a packed dance floor, right? But not here. Turns out almost no one danced at their wedding, leaving the DJ a bit baffled and Jeremy Vuolo with a hilarious story to tell. From the few rare moves people made to the DJ's attempts to get people up, we're here to give you the scoop. And for a bit of nostalgia, we're looking back at John David Duggar's early hustle, Duggar Towing. Remember when he was hauling cars in Arkansas? Whatever happened to his towing business, and why did he move on from it? We'll dive into what fans think, how it shaped his life, and where his path has led him since. So whether you're a longtime Duggar follower or just here for the latest drama, you won't want to miss today's breakdown. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get started. In today's video, we're diving into Jinger Duggar's recent podcast revelations about her brother Jason Duggar's wedding to Maddie Grace. You won't believe how even Jinger, the rebel Duggar, is already calling it just another Duggar wedding. These weddings seem to be happening nonstop, but that's not all. Jinger admitted she barely knows her new sister-in-law, Maddie, and that got us thinking, just how close is she to any of her siblings' wives? Let's unpack it all. On the Wednesday, October 23rd episode of Jinger and Jeremy Vuolo's podcast, Jinger gave fans a glimpse into her thoughts on Jason Duggar's wedding. While fans might have expected her to gush about the event, Jinger simply referred to it as another Duggar wedding, almost brushing it off. And that's not the most surprising part. Jinger admitted she barely knows Maddie Grace, Jason's new wife. She said she's only spoken to Maddie once, and that was during Jana's wedding. So it wasn't exactly a deep conversation. This raises a pretty interesting question. How well does Jinger really know her sisters-in-law? If we look at the timeline, it's clear that she's much closer to her older siblings and their spouses, especially those who got married while she was still living in Arkansas. We can assume she knows Anna Duggar, Josh's wife, pretty well. After all, Anna was around when Jinger still lived at the family home, but as for the younger wives, like Claire, Katie, and now Maddie, it seems she hardly knows them. It makes sense when you think about it. With Jinger living far away from her family in Los Angeles and the Duggar rapid-fire marriages, there's not much time to form strong bonds. Plus, these courtships are usually short, and the weddings come fast. For example, she probably knows Kendra Caldwell and Lauren Swanson reasonably well since they got married around the same time, and their families were local. But for newer wives like Hannah Wisman or Claire Spivey, Jinger likely hasn't had much of a chance to get to know them. It's also interesting that Jinger admitted to confusing her brothers on occasion. She mistakenly thought Josiah was the one who broke his jaw in an orchestra pit, when it was actually Jason. And she couldn't even remember attending Jeremiah Duggar's wedding in Nebraska. It's no wonder, though. When you come from a family of 19 kids, keeping track of every wedding and major life event must be a challenge. And speaking of bonds, it's worth noting that Jinger and her husband Jeremy Vuolo seem to be good friends with Joy. Anna's husband, Austin Forsyth, the two men often hang out, which is a surprise to some fans considering Austin's more conservative background, but it looks like the Wismans have been in the Duggar orbit for years, so Jinger might have a stronger connection to Stephen Wisman than some of her younger sisters-in-law. But what about Anna Duggar? Fans have long speculated that Jinger might not be as close to her as the show Counting On once suggested. While the show portrayed Anna as just like a sister to Jinger, there's reason to believe that might have been for the cameras. With all the tension surrounding Josh Duggar's scandals, it's possible that the once close bond between Jinger and Anna has faded. In the end, with 19 siblings, countless nieces and nephews, and a growing number of sisters and brothers-in-law, it's no surprise Jinger is starting to feel a little disconnected. As she continues her life in LA, far from Arkansas, it's clear that she's focusing more on her immediate family with Jeremy and her daughters, and less on keeping up with every Duggar family event. So, what do you think, Fame Fam? Is Jinger slowly drifting away from the Duggar family? Or is this just the reality of having such a large family and living far away? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Next, we've got a sweet and crazy story straight from Jinger Duggar Vuolo herself. Jinger recently revealed how she shared her exciting baby news with her mom, Michelle Duggar, and her sisters. And trust us, it's the kind of heartwarming, surprise-filled story you won't want to miss. So grab a seat and let's get into the full scoop of how this special moment unfolded for the Duggar family. Jinger Duggar Vuolo, at 30, is expecting her third child with husband Jeremy Vuolo. And this big news has everyone buzzing. But what makes the reveal even more special is the unexpected way Jinger told her mom and sisters. Jinger shared the full story in an exclusive interview with People, recalling how it all happened during her sister Jana's bachelorette weekend in Los Angeles. All the Duggar women were gathered, ready for a fun weekend of celebrations, relaxation, and some sisterly bonding. The idea of using a hot tub started it all. As Jinger recounts, everyone had been excitedly planning to jump in the hot tub later that day. They were like, unless anyone has any news to share. Because you're not supposed to be in the hot tub if you're pregnant, Jinger explained with a laugh. At first, she stayed quiet, playing it cool even as the hints dropped. But when she texted Jeremy, he encouraged her to share the news with them then and there. So, while everyone else was soaking in the hot tub, Jinger sat on the edge waiting for the perfect moment to reveal her secret. Of course, the questions started, "Isn't it cold? Aren't you going to get in?" Jinger took the opportunity to drop the news casually, saying, "Well, I guess you shouldn't do that if you're pregnant, right?" The family's reaction was priceless. Jinger remembers her mom and sisters being the cutest, totally shocked but overjoyed by the big surprise. And if that wasn't sweet enough, the story continued with a memorable gender reveal. After taking a blood test to find out the gender while visiting Arkansas, Jinger decided to let her sister Jessa Duggar Seawald, who's just older than her, handle the surprise reveal. Jessa sent Jinger and Jeremy a package containing a little outfit that hinted at the baby's gender, making the discovery moment so sweet, Jinger gushed. Jeremy's parents also got a special, surprise-filled reveal. While the couple was recording an episode of their podcast, they asked Jeremy's parents to join in for some advice about parenting. Jeremy slyly asked them, "What advice would you give a young couple about to have their third child?" As the question sank in, Jeremy's parents' reactions were caught on camera as realization dawned. The whole moment was, in Jeremy's words, so fun and filled with excitement. Jinger and Jeremy, already parents to daughters Felicity and Evangeline, are thrilled to welcome their third child, regardless of gender. Jeremy, who's enjoyed being a girl dad, is curious to see if they'll be adding a boy to the family mix, but he says either way he's happy. Jinger summed it up perfectly, saying, "We're happy either way." So what do you all think? Are we hoping for another Duggar girl or a Duggar boy? Then we're diving into the unique story of Jason Duggar and Maddie Grace's wedding, and why their dance floor was unexpectedly empty. That's right, according to Jinger Duggar Vuolo and her husband Jeremy, the dance floor at Jason and Maddie's wedding was largely untouched, with guests hesitant to get up and dance. We'll break down everything they shared in their recent podcast, the few rare moments people joined the floor, and how the DJ's confusion became a hilarious highlight of the evening. Let's get into the details. On the latest episode of their podcast, The Jinger and Jeremy Show, Jinger Duggar Vuolo and her husband Jeremy revealed some fun behind-the-scenes moments from Jason Duggar and Maddie Grace's wedding, especially regarding the, let's say, quiet dance floor. Despite a DJ spinning popular hits from Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline to other crowd pleasers, most guests remained firmly seated. According to Jinger, the DJ would announce the next song with excitement, only to find the floor completely empty. The DJ quickly caught on to the Duggar family's hesitancy to dance, a tradition, or lack thereof, that's well known in their family culture. Jeremy humorously shared his exchange with the DJ, who admitted he had no idea the Duggar crowd would be so reserved. "Bro, do you have any idea what you got into at this wedding?" Jeremy asked, and the DJ could only laugh, replying, "No, but it's wild." Jinger shared how the guests did join the floor for songs like the Cha-Cha Slide and the YMCA, where the lyrics give instructions for each step. For brief moments, the dance floor filled with guests eager to follow the steps, laughing and letting loose as they mimicked the moves. It was a lot of fun when there were instructions, Jinger explained, noting that Duggar tend to enjoy group dances over freestyle. The reserved attitude toward dancing, Jinger added, is simply part of their family culture, describing it as not part of the Duggar culture at all. While the couple, who themselves have embraced a more relaxed lifestyle in recent years, found it amusing, it was clear that old habits are hard to break in such a traditional family. And it wasn't just the dance floor. The entire wedding day reflected Jason and Maddie's values. They tied the knot in a stunning fall-themed ceremony at the estate at Sweetwater Creek on October 3rd, surrounded by 300 friends and family members. Jason's siblings, including his brothers and younger sisters, made up the wedding party, with Jedediah serving as his best man. The couple, who first connected through Instagram in December 2023, had a whirlwind romance that led Jason to propose in a dreamy beach setting just 8 months later. So, while Jason and Maddie's wedding might not have been a high-energy dance party, it was an unforgettable day filled with love, laughter, and memorable moments, even if the dance floor was a little empty. Do you think the Duggar family will ever break tradition and embrace dancing at future weddings? Finally, we're diving into a bit of Duggar nostalgia with a closer look at John David Duggar's early business venture, Duggar Towing. Remember those days back in the early 2010s when John David was hauling cars across Arkansas? Well, fans have been wondering, whatever happened to Duggar Towing? Why did John David leave it behind? And what was it like running such a demanding business at such a young age? We'll be looking at how this endeavor fit into his life, what fans think may have caused the business to close, and how it influenced his career path moving forward. Let's dive into the details. Back in the days of 19 Kids and counting, John David was well known for taking on various roles within the Duggar family's business ventures. Duggar Towing was one of those early enterprises, where John David was often seen hauling cars around in his tow truck, sometimes even dropping vehicles off at the family's car lot for his older brother Josh to sell. He was among the few Duggar kids at that time to carve out a job path distinct from the family's real estate and political endeavors, showing a clear interest in hands-on, hard work that many fans admired. Over the years, though, John David's focus began to shift. From stepping into roles like becoming an elected constable to following his passion for aviation as a pilot, it seemed like towing was no longer part of his vision. Then came his involvement with Medic Corps, a nonprofit where he could apply his skills as a pilot in disaster relief efforts. These career moves reflected John David's evolving interests and possibly a desire for a more fulfilling and perhaps stable career outside of the long hours and risks associated with towing. After all, the towing industry is known for its dangers, especially during roadside rescues where drivers face unpredictable situations. Fans have offered many theories on why Duggar Towing quietly faded from the family's business roster. Some suggest the family initially acquired a tow truck for show, either for the business or for appearances on 19 Kids and Counting, while others believe the maintenance and expenses of running a towing service could have eventually outweighed the profits. Many speculated that, with the long hours and high demands of towing, John David found a more sustainable work-life balance through piloting and Medic Corps. The reality of a towing business, especially one that required constant repairs, bookkeeping, and managing government regulations, could have been overwhelming, especially as he took on new responsibilities and eventually got married. For fans who remember John David's towing days fondly, it's clear he showed early signs of being one of the Duggar most willing to do the hard work, even taking on labor-intensive jobs that other family members might avoid. His towing business may have paved the way for his current career focus, instilling skills and perseverance and work ethic that he still carries today. So, while we may never know the exact reason John David closed Duggar Towing, it's safe to say that it served as a stepping stone in his career journey. From towing cars to flying planes and working in disaster relief, John David's career has certainly been unique among his siblings. What do you think? Was Duggar Towing just too demanding, or did John David simply find more fulfilling ways to use his skills? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on the Duggar and all your other favorite reality TV families. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Fame.